Okay, time for a new video. Welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. This is yet another Eurovision 2025 related video here on my channel, and another sort of reaction video as well, because right now I am about to listen to snippets of all of the songs in contention for Italy with regards to the upcoming edition of the ESC, which as we all know will take place this May in Basel, Switzerland. As always, you're welcome to let me know your thoughts on anything I discuss in today's video by leaving a comment down below, and as always there are links in the description to my other social media pages. Check them out if you so wish. So I just want to make it clear before I get into the main point of this video that this is not strictly speaking a first time reaction to these tunes. Very late last night I watched a few videos on YouTube where people had already ranked the 29 songs involved in the 75th edition of the Sanremo Music Festival. And I filmed a video very similar to the one that you're watching now, but it didn't turn out very well because those snippets were far too short, and I thought, you know what? Don't upload this, just film it again tomorrow. So that's what I'm doing now. And I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I found a playlist on Spotify, I copied all of the songs into my own personal playlist, and I'm going to go through them one by one. I've put them into alphabetical order based on artist's name. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through each song, skip forwards maybe about 50 seconds, listen to maybe about 15 to 20 seconds of each song, skip forwards again a little bit, and just really get the overall vibe of the track. And then the songs that I'm enjoying the most, I guess, those will be the tunes that I check out in full, off camera, in my own time, and then obviously I'll check out all of the others as well at some point. And if you'd like to know my specific favourites of this year's edition of Sanremo, keep an eye on my other social media pages, because chances are I'll be posting something about it moving forwards. Anyway, I'm already rambling big time. Sanremo began last night, February the 11th, and will conclude on February the 15th. All of the shows, of course, taking place once again at the rather compact Teatro Ariston in Sanremo, Liguria. Carlo Conti is the presenter, but he's got loads of guest presenters over the next couple of evenings. There's loads of guest performers as well, usually. It is such a big deal. It is an event that is older than Eurovision, inspired Eurovision, absolutely. And somewhere in the region of 10 to 15 million Italians tune in every night of this festival. Every year, it goes on for hours and hours. It is a huge deal, not just in Italy, but for Eurovision fans all around the globe as well. There are 29 acts involved. There's so much information in front of me here. I'm not going to go through it all. Long story short, last night all of the entrants performed and were judged by the press room jury, TV jury and web jury combined. And I wasn't watching a live stream last night, but I was online around the time the show finished, so I know the songs that finished in the top 5 last night, and oh boy, I think they just picked them out of a hat at random. Tonight, today being the 12th of February, half of the entrants will be judged through a 50-50 split system by means of televoting and the jury of the radio, to be added up to the results of the first night. 2 of the 4 newcomers will be judged by all 3 juries, determining the first finalist. I don't think we need to worry too much about the newcomers section, but I might check those songs out in my own time moving forwards. On the third night, the other half of the entrants of both sections will be judged as on the previous night. On night 4, which is the covers evening, they will be judged through a split system by means of the televoting, 34%, and the 2 juries, 33% each, determining the winner of the night. The winner of the newcomers section will be determined by the same system. And then on the final night, where it really matters, the entrants will be judged through a split system by means of the televote, 34%, and the 2 juries, 33% each, to be added up to the results of the first 3 nights. So the covers night doesn't really matter too much this time around. Ultimately, a final voting round with the same split system will be held among the top 5, which will determine the winner. Now, I believe the favourite to win is Ollie, which is very interesting. I would say Georgia is perhaps the one to beat myself, but it's a really, really stacked lineup. If you looked at this on paper, you'd be saying, wow, quality everywhere you look. We've got Achille Lauro, Comacose or Comacos. We've got Elodie, Fedez, he's a huge star. Francesca Michelin, love her. Francesco Gabbani, Giorgia Irama, The Colours. Massimo Ranieri is back. Moda, they've been going a long time. Noemi, Ollie, who I just mentioned. Rose Villain, who's got very vivid blue hair at the moment, I believe. We've also got Simone Cristici, who I think is definitely in with a chance of winning this festival if the public are on board with it, and Willy Peyote. Yes, indeed. In fact, I would say, I know it was announced in a random order last night, but I would say that Simone probably won the jury voting of the first night. Anyway, shall we get cracking? This is going to be a very messy and potentially quite long video. What I'm going to do is just make a note of a few names. So yes, I'm doing things a little bit differently because there's always issues with copyright and people's videos getting taken down to do with Sanremo every year. So here we go. I've actually written down a few names already last night when I previously filmed this video. I wrote down Come Cose, Achille Lauro, Willy Peyote, The Colours, Gabani, Michelin and Toscano, Sarah Toscano. Those were the names that I wrote down. And I looked at a few comments online, and as has been the case throughout this Eurovision season, people seem to be gravitating towards the songs that I didn't think much of, especially Fedez. I saw a lot of comments about him, saying that he's got the best song. Obviously, I will give every track a fair shot, but let's do this. First up is a song that finished in the top 5 with the jury last night, which is highly impressive. It is, let me get myself sorted here, Innocenti Giovanni by Achille Lauro, who of course represented San Marino a couple of years ago. So here we go. I'm going to skip forwards a little bit here. Yeah, this is a fairly romantic sounding ballad. Quite different for Achille Lauro, I would say. And he was on stage dressed very smartly. Yeah, it's quite tender, but then it's got this rather swooning type chorus. The only thing that I'm not such a fan of with Achille, and this might sound really harsh, so I apologise, but it feels to me as though he mumbles when he sings a bit too much. But this is quite nice. Yeah, it's not really that original. We've got what sounds like a saxophone towards the end, which I can appreciate. Okay, that's really not too bad, actually. That's really not too bad. So Achille is going down on the list again. Next up is La Tana del Granchio by Bresh. Yeah. Somewhat mid-tempo here. And then we've got a chorus which feels more rap-in style. But it's not super heavy. It's fairly accessible. Rap is not really my style at all. But I don't mind this. Okay, I've skipped forwards towards the end here. Doesn't seem as though it's really a song that builds up too much. Yeah, I don't think that's in with a chance myself. Next up is Bruno Risas. Now, this did finish in the top 5 last night as well. This is L'Albero delle Noci. Okay, yeah. Bit of piano. It's quite mellifluous, this. I use the word gentle again because it is. Just skipping forwards here. Strings building in the background. I'm not sure that one there. I'm not sure it really would hold my attention too well for the whole 4 minutes that this song is. I'm surprised that finished in the top 5 myself, but then again, I don't know. Maybe Italians are absolutely loving it. Next up is Febbre by Clara. Okay, yeah, this is a little bit rap in style as well. Moody beat. slight electro sounds as well, I would say. Now you see, if we're thinking solely about Eurovision, this wouldn't be bad. But Sanremo is not strictly speaking a national final, is it? If this was strictly a national final, this would probably be in with a very good shot. Yeah, it's got this ticking sound in the chorus. It's got some momentum. I don't mind it at all. Very nice. Febbre is on the list. Next up is Cuoricini by Come Cose. And the performance of this seemed very intriguing indeed. So let's give it a chance. Okay, we're straight into it. This sounds familiar. I'm not sure what to compare it to, really, but we've got this pulse in the background, and now the chorus comes in. Oh, yeah. Very easy to go along with. And I must say, the snippet of the performance really grabbed my attention last night. This is on the list. That might do quite well with the public. Cuoricini. Yeah, that is solid stuff, I would say. Next up is Elodie with Dimenticarsi alle 7. Elodie has been involved many times before. Beautiful woman. And I've seen quite a lot of positivity surrounding this track. So let's give it a chance. Yeah, I think this is a song that's really going to potentially show off Elodie's vocal power. I'm in the first chorus here. It's just holding back a touch. But then you sense that it's really going to build in the background. Dum dum da dum. Dum dum da dum. Yeah. Yeah. Again, slight electro sounds, I would say. And then it seems as though it's actually... Okay. Oh, yes, it does. We have a little bit more of an explosive finish. Yeah, that's not too bad. I'm not sure that's the strongest one I've heard so far, actually, but that's not too bad at all. And Elodie's, you know, she's had some cracking songs in the past. Next up is Fedez with Batito. He's a huge star. Yeah. Quite a glum sounding part of the song here, just before the first chorus. I'm not really a fan of this at all, which is where the voice is altered slightly. You know, elements of auto-tune are very clear, or some sort of vocoder is used. And then there's a slight fierceness coming through in the chorus, you know, a bit of grit. Yeah, that's not going to end up being one of my favourites. But there we are. Next up is Francesca Michelin. Oh, don't we just love her? This is Fango in Paradiso. Let's not forget, she was a conductor at Sanremo last year or the year before. I think this might end up being my favourite. Piano. Very simple. Oh, this is sweet. Yes, very pleasant, this. Not doing anything too fancy in terms of the instrumentation or indeed the melody. And then it does build up towards the end. Yeah, that is solid. Solid. I'm hoping that's not criminally underrated. I'm not just writing down her name because I like her and her music in general. I genuinely think that's one of the best so far. Next up is The man, the myth, the legend, Francesco Gabbani, he's back with Viva la Vita. I did see a bit of this performance last night as well, and he performs in a very sort of carefree, easygoing manner. He is a bit of a showman figure, we all know this. Feels quite emotional, the chorus, actually. Almost nostalgic in a sense. Oh yeah, this is nice. It is nice. And he's a good singer and a good performer. Yeah, I think that's going to do quite well with the public, but I don't think Gabbani is going to win this year's festival myself. Next up is Gaia with Chiamo io, chiamo tu. Chiamo io, chiami tu. My apologies. Okay, yeah. This is a little bit similar to Clara, perhaps, ever so slightly. Little bit of groove in the chorus. Oh. Yeah. This is a little bit more straightforward pop, I guess. It's okay. You're going on the list. It's okay. It's not the strongest one here thus far, but it's not too bad. Next up is Georgia. Now, I'm saying this is the one to beat. Big star. This is La Cura per me. And this is one of those ballads where it's all about the vocals shining through, really. Piano, yeah, big notes. Feels very classic. And this is what Italy are very good at, you know. You could say this is a straightforward ballad, but they do the simplistics really well. And it's just building up. Yeah. It is quite nice, isn't it? It really is quite nice. And it's not too flashy either. It really isn't. It's very, very easy to go along with. That's him with a real shot. Next up is Irama with Lentamente. The Marcus Riva of Italy here. He's going to keep coming back until he wins it. Piano. Very simplistic verse here. I haven't minded his previous efforts. Maybe takes a while to get going. But it is building. Going for it a bit more in the final third. Again, this feels... I am repeating myself here, but you get so many things like this in Sanremo every year. Things that feel classic, nostalgic, romantic, packing a punch emotionally. We get so many things like this. That's not too bad. I'm not writing him down, but that's not too bad. Next up is Echo by Joan Tiele. Let's just call her Joan. So this is the woman with the guitar, which I can really appreciate. Oh yeah, I remember this. This is effortlessly cool, I would say. I don't think it's very competitive, though. Yeah, I don't think this is in with a shot at all. I'm loving the slight reverb on the guitar. Oh yeah. Sounds like it should be the theme song to some sort of crime show. Oh yeah. I don't mind that at all, actually, but it's just not quite competitive enough to win this. Next up is The Colours with Tu con chi fai l'amore. They've been involved before. Big band, but they've never really had that golden song capable of winning the festival. And this is quite funky, if I remember. Yeah, here comes the chorus. Get a load of that bass guitar doing the heavy lifting here. Yeah, the lead singer, I wonder if he's a model as well, because he's definitely got that very sort of model look about him. Yeah, this is not bad. It's quite fun. Yeah, not bad at all, but I don't think it's winning. Definitely it feels like one of the more up-tempo songs here. Next up is Lucio Corsi, and this finished in the top 5 last night as well. This is Volevo essere un duro. Yeah, this one feels very throwback almost, as if it's being transplanted from the 70s or something. Don't mind the violin in the background at all. Very languid. Very easygoing. How did this finish in the top 5, I'd like to know. Yeah, it's okay, but maybe not for me. Next up is Pelle Diamante by Marcella Bella. Now this one did stand out a bit. Yeah, it's got this pulsating beat in the chorus. Little bit of sass. Seems as though there's a slight echo to the vocals in this studio cut. Maybe that's just me. Not too bad. Yeah, this is okay, but it's not going to win the festival. Next up is Massimo Ranieri, big star, been at Eurovision before many, many years ago. This is Tra le mani un cuore. Now, he really delivers songs very passionately indeed. Oh yeah, just listening to this chorus, it feels classic, it feels old-fashioned, but not in a bad way. He's just belting it out, really. And then we've got what sounds like a saxophone again in the background towards the end. The strings really kicking in. It's nice, but I would say it's perhaps fairly forgettable as well. Next up is Moda with Non Ti Dimentico. They've been around a long time. Done quite well at Sanremo in the past, actually. I was expecting something heavier here. Okay, I'm in the first chorus. It's picking up the pace ever so slightly. And now in come the guitars about 2 minutes in. And it becomes a little bit more U2 in style as we enter the 2.5 minute mark. And then it slows down again. Yeah, that's the sort of song that I could enjoy, but I don't think I'd gravitate towards it very often. Next up is Se t'inamori muori by Noemi, another big star. Some of these songs are blending together. She's got a very distinctive voice, really can belt something out. Piano, everything sounds good with the Sanremo orchestra, that is for sure. Again, there feels as though there's a great deal of emotion packed into this track. And I don't speak Italian, but I can feel it. That's what's so impressive about many of these songs every year, is that you feel some sort of connection somehow with what they're singing, even if you don't speak the language. This is nice. You're going on the list. Not too bad at all. Next up is the favourite, apparently, Balorda Nostalgia by Ollie. Acoustic guitar at the start. First chorus. Again, I'm not sure this is really doing anything out of the ordinary. Very simple to go along with, isn't it? Da 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 da. You can sort of guess where the song is going. Skipping forwards a bit here, nothing's really that different. I can't really understand why that's the favourite to win, but it's not too bad. Next up is Arcomi with Il ritmo delle cose. This is the guy who was wearing a suit jacket on stage, was he not? And nothing underneath. It's a little bit of a rap song. But this one's lacking something for me. Yeah, I'm not sure that one's really going to stand out too much to me moving forwards. Next up is Rocco Hunt with Mille Volte Ancora. And this is also a bit rap in style. Yes. This one feels a little bit more summery in style, maybe a bit more Latin type, if that's the right term to use. Feels a bit flirtatious almost. But I don't think that's competitive enough. Next up is Rose Villain. Now I'm really excited to listen to this one. This is Fuori Legge. Didn't really love Click Boom last year or the year before, but I think this could be more up my street. Yeah, this chorus. Fuori legge. And then this second verse here. It sounds very familiar to something. Sounds very familiar. Bonnie and Clyde. Oh, and then it slows down. And then boom, we're straight back in pretty much. This song is doing some interesting things, I would say. That should be in with a good shot of finishing high up. But the way things have been this Eurovision season, that'll finish nowhere. We've only got a few more to go. Next up is Ser Toscano with Amarcord. Oh, yeah. Oh, that bit there sounded like Luxembourg's entry. Okay, there is momentum. And she's very young, so all credit to her for being on that stage. This is pretty good. Sounds a little bit like Sinceramente for Annalisa last year. You're going on the list. Some high notes towards the end. Next up is Serena Brancale with Anema e Corre. Oh yes. She was in this red outfit. Looked fantastic. And again, this is on the somewhat summery side. Get up and have a dance, that sort of thing. And there's a little bit of sass in this second verse. Not bad, but I don't think it's coming close to winning. Next up is the song that I actually thought was the poorest last night. This is Shablo, Gue, Joshua and Tormento with La Mia Parola. Oh yeah, this is fairly low key for a rap song. And I didn't really like the way it was staged either. Very casual. Not terribly strong. Sounds like a saxophone again at the end here, or a trumpet. Yeah, that's not really for me. I feel as though that's lacking any sort of sparkle whatsoever. Only a few more. Simone Cristici is next. This is Quando Sarai Piccola. And this, in my opinion, did win the jury vote of the first night. He's a previous Sanremo winner. Almost talking, not singing in the verse. This is going to do so damn well. He's great. Massive beard, massive curly hair. What a legend. It's just... Oh yeah. Again, you can really sort of sense the emotion. Piano, not much else. Builds up a little bit, but it's not too overpowering near the end. You're on the list. That is in with a serious shot. If the public are on board with it, which I'm not sure they will be, that could do very, very well. Next up is Dame na Mano by Tony Effe. Oh yeah, I do remember this one from last night now as well. I thought he looked very nervous on stage. You've got this sort of spooky wailing in the background, and then in the verses it's very sort of low. Not really my cup of tea, I've got to be honest. Which leaves Grazie, ma no grazie by Willy Peyote. And he had two backing singers with him on stage. This is not too bad at all. Fun enough for 3.5 minutes. Grazie, meno grazie. Oh, yeah. It's mainly all about the chorus here. Feels a bit cheeky somehow. Anyway, that's it. That's it. So I've written down Achille Lauro, Clara, Come Cose, Elodie, Francesca, Francesco, Gaia, Giorgia, The Colours, Noemi, Rosevillain, Serra Toscano, and Simone Cristici. If one of those artists wins, I'll be a happy man, but the way things have been this Eurovision season, I'm not expecting it. Simone was in the top 5 last night, not a surprise. Achille was, not too much of a surprise. Giorgia is the one to beat, as far as I'm concerned. Bruno Risas and Lucio Corsi. How on earth they got into the top 5, I do not know. I'm surprised Elodie wasn't there. I'm really hoping Francesca is not underrated, because I think that's a really lovely track. Ollie is going to do well. Rosevillain, I'm on board. I'm on board with that track. And I'm sure Irama will be up there as well. And I think Serra Toscano deserves some love. But Fedez, that song's not really doing anything for me. So I would not be surprised if that's the one that everybody's loving. Typical. I'm off the ball again with the general consensus. Anyway, long video. Let me know what you think. Hopefully it's turned out alright. And I'll be back with more Eurovision 2025 related content fairly soon. Until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and bye for now.